Here we've got the topic called die rolling. So that's rolling a die, or sometimes more than one, which are dice. So ordinary fair die is a cube with numbers 1 through 6. Probably familiar with that. So imagine that we rolled it twice in succession. So we roll it once and then roll it again, and the face values of the two are added together. And then the sum is recorded as the outcome of a single trial of random experiments. Okay? The question is, compute the probability of two things. First, what's the probability that our sum is going to be greater than 9? And then our next problem within this problem is, what's the probability that the sum is not divisible by 2? And our answer is going to be fractions. So let's take a look. If we roll the first die and get a 3, and then we roll the same die and get a 2, then our answer is 5. So 5 would be the recorded outcome. Now here is something that we really need to understand. This is a table that shows all 36 possible pairs. So if you think about every single different pair of numbers you can get after rolling 1, then 2, then these are that. You could get a 1 and a 1 on the first roll and a 1 on the second roll. You could get a 1 on the first roll and a 2 on the second roll, a 1 and a 3, a 1 and a 4, or you could get a 2 and a 1, 2, 2, etc. So it just goes on and on, right? So there's 36 different possible combinations of rolling that die 2 times in a row. Okay, so first just understand that notation. These aren't ordered pairs. They're just representing the two numbers for the two rolls. All right. So we want to understand that it's a fair die. So that means that the probability of each of these different 36 outcomes is 1 out of 36. Okay, so we can just simply count the number of ways that each event can occur and divide it by 36 when we're working on our probability, right? And if we take a look at this, if you read through this, what it will explain is that right here there's only one way that we can get a sum of 2. But here, the sum of 3, there's actually 2 ways. See, both of these yellow makes 3. 2 plus 1 or 1 plus 2. And then if we look at this diagonal, those all sum to 4, and there's 3 ways. And then here, there's 4 ways that make a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways that make a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways that make a 7, etc., etc. Right? The biggest sum we can get is 12. Because in this first probability, we're looking at what's the probability that the sum is greater than 9. Okay, so this is diagonal of 7, diagonal of 8, diagonal of 9. Now it says it has to be greater than 9. So we can't count any of these. We can only count these right here. And how many are those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They added up the 3, 2, and 1. 6. There's 6 outcomes that can be greater than 9 out of 36 total. That makes 1/6 as our probability for the sum being greater than 9. Okay, let's look at the second part, probability that the sum is not divisible by 2. Okay, so we want to think of all the different sums on this previous page right here. Let's see if I can get rid of some of this stuff. Okay, so in this, what are all the sums? Well, you know, it can add up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those are all the different sums. And what we're looking for is our probability that it's not divisible by 2. Well, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 aren't divisible by 2. Because there are 2 ways of obtaining 3. How many ways can be 5? There's 4 of those ways of containing 5. Remember back here? So 3 counts. So we have to add those up. That's 3 of them. 5 counts. And there's 4 of those, right? 4 outcomes out of 36. 7 counts because it's not divisible by 2. And how many of those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. 9 counts, and there's 4 of those. 11 counts, and there's 2 of those. So if we look back here, that's where they got all of these numbers. We add that up, and we get 18 different ways that basically give us an odd number, which is half. So it's a 50-50. So here is our final answer for all of that. We've got to do quite a bit of counting, and it's not really too hard, but it's kind of tricky to keep track of. So be careful with that and have fun.